to all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave pair of peeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Father Sean Whittington's Paranormal Ministry Live. I'm your host, Father Sean, and I'm an ordained Catholic priest with the United States Old Catholic Church. I'm a fully professed brother with the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary. I'm a team member of the Society of St. Benedict, and I'm co-founder of Ghost Begone. And I am that guy on Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists, which is streaming everywhere. So I'm still getting a lot of people wanting to know how to watch it that didn't catch it the 2 times it aired live on Travel. You know what? I get a lot of requests from people overseas. I know it aired in Asia, but I do get a lot of people in a lot of other locations overseas, like just off the top of my head, Denmark. They can't get it there. They can't even buy it on Amazon. So it's available to buy on Amazon Prime if you are able to get it there and you can't stream it anywhere. But it's out there. But I appreciate everybody's support. Everybody's still pulling for a season 2. Hasn't been greenlit yet for a season 2. Hasn't been officially canceled, but it hasn't been greenlit yet. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. But thank you to everybody for the positive feedback and all of that, all of the support and positive feedback. It really meant a lot to me and the other cast members, and I'm sure the producers and the director and the network. I'm sure it means, these people work hard to put projects like that together. So positive feedback means a lot. Okay. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go there to visit, everything's there. My books, both my books are there. God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry, and God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry 2. You can get them at Amazon, a little less expensive. If you get them off of the website, I autograph them. They leave my office here. I put them in a house blessing kit for you. And part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books off the website goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. So how cool is that? What else is there?
Hey, Sean, I didn't talk to you about this, and I don't know if you're going to like this at all. But I'm going to offer up something. All right.
Sure.
All of our listeners out there, all of our watchers out there, we're really wanting to get more people on the show. We want to see our numbers rise. We want to have you guys enjoy the show and share it with people. So here's our offer. As Community Pay It Forward, as a wonderful partner with Sean, we have a signed copy of both of Sean's book, and we have a copy of Dr. Joy's book that we will be giving away to someone who tags their friends when you're watching this show. We will give it away Halloween week. We'll draw a name. So every name you tag, we will put into a hat. And on Halloween week, okay, the week before Halloween, whatever show we're on, let's go with, let's go with Susan's show. How's that?
Sure.
We'll go with Susan's show on Halloween.
Well, let's see. Let me check the calendar real quick, because usually Halloween is a big event night for her. And actually, it would be Monday, October 28th, which would be her show. Halloween is the following Thursday. So 4 days later, if she's doing anything, everybody.
We're still going to have a show regardless.
Yeah, if we have to change the dates, we'll do it. But
yep, we're still going to have a show regardless. And here's the way that this is going to go. Every person that you tag and you get here in our audience, okay, we will see the tags, but every person who's tagged, your name will go into a drawing, and you can win a copy of both of Sean's books and a copy of Dr. Joy's books. So You got a little
Which one
while?
of Joy's books did she send to you?
I've got the great Dr. Joy's newest book. So
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
the I and of course I can't see it right now because I had to move everything around. Um, yeah, so we will do that because we want to see more people hanging out with us and having fun like we usually do. So take and start tagging your friends and get them on this show. Let's up our numbers and win a couple books, huh? So,
Sounds good.
by the way, I know I didn't talk to you about that, but
Yay. Would it have mattered? That's a good idea, Zach. Occasionally you come up with the good ones. I mean, sometimes just when I just think you're sitting there eating those half ding dong, half Twinkie things and not paying attention, you surprise me. That was a good one. That'll work out good.
actually, when I came up with it, was eating a ringy dingy or whatever the hell it was called, you know. So
Yeah, I had a feeling those never are too far away from you. So that's a good suggestion. So that Monday night, October 28th, is supposed to be Happy Medium Monday with Susan Ahern, the Happy Medium. But depending on how her Halloween schedule is going, I'll just throw it out there now. We'll have a show regardless, whether Susan's able to make it or not. We'll have a special Halloween thing show that night, and we'll get one way or another. We'll get spooky and get spirited on it. So what else is at my website? My online course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. If you'd like to enroll in something like that, there's no other course like that uh, out there. There's no other instructor like me teaching a course like that out there. And that's a good course for all of you true warriors for Christ that want to learn how to draw your line in the sand, make a stand, circle the wagons, put up a good fight, perhaps the fight of your life against true evil if it ever comes calling. That's the course for you. You can enroll in it there at the website, or you can go to the Father Sean Whittington's Introduction to Spiritual Warfare online course Facebook page and read about the course before you make that type of commitment. And there's also a place on the website where you can make an appointment to speak with me about your spiritual issues, not paranormal, but your spiritual issues if you need that type of counseling. Also, the books now just recently became available, audio versions of them. So you can go to Amazon, get the books a little less expensive there, and they're also available in audio now. So we're rocking and rolling here. So what else do I want to tell you guys? Um, Another great thing about my Friday shows now this whole year, and I get so many people reaching out to me going, "Good move," is that now I have a regular Friday co-host, and I like to bring her out and have her out here with me when we do the opening prayer and check the mailbag. And keep your fingers crossed too. We're not going to try and pull them on yet, but our guest today is having really, really bad storm in his area, and the connection right now, at least, is not very good. We're going to try and pull him on, but if we're not able to, uh, my co-host and I will do our very best song and dance, and we'll have fun. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, my friend. I love her. I respect her. She's also my publisher, owner of Stellium Books. Please give a big, warm welcome to the one and only Annette Munich.
Hi, Sean. Hi, Zach. Hi, everybody. And, I'm going to start off by saying I happen to know somebody that could donate some books for a Halloween giveaway, and I would love for us to have more listeners. So, and besides books, maybe some other things. I'd be happy to do that. And I think that's a fabulous idea. And the audiobooks, we have that, and that's new right now. Is so your books are on audio. And besides being on Amazon, they can be found on Audible now. And we got Rick Keepers in the audiobooks we have called In the Darkness. And that was Krista Florio. And he was on with his wife Harmony a few weeks ago. And that episode's available on YouTube if anybody wants to look for that. And now I've got Rick Hayes' 3 books available in audiobook form. So we're putting them out there and seeing. I did talk to a lot of people, and Zach was one, and he really enjoyed audiobooks. So I wanted to try and start making that happen for people.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, that was, I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. Was that something that YouTube just started offering? Not YouTube, but Amazon just started offering?
It is new. So we didn't do it earlier because, I mean, you can have audiobooks, but they weren't helping people make them before, unless you wanted to pay and get a voiceover artist and all kinds of stuff like that. And it was a big deal to get it done. And now they're doing it with digital voices. And so they made that available, I would say, um, January or early February. So just a few months ago, and they're turning out nice. They're good for us. So, I'm hoping that people enjoy them, and it's a nice thing to be able to do, because there are people that audiobooks, that's how they buy is audiobooks. They don't buy regular print books anymore at all. So let's see what happens. We'll see.
Annette, I really think a lot of it has nothing to do, some to do with also, we're all so busy now that
Right.
an audiobook is just so, where you miss and you lose the fact that you're holding the physical book. Being able to sit at my desk and listen to a book while I'm working is something that, I love doing. So, and hey,
And I heard the same thing of people that drive a lot. They enjoy
yeah,
it.
very much so.
People like to put it on while they're doing housework and simple chores and stuff. They listen to that instead of music. So
I jazzercise to books.
you jazzercise. I love that.
Okay, no, I don't. But the thought of me exercising just makes
No,
me
you
giggle.
should do it. It's great.
Well, listen, I'm going to, I know you like to be out here for the opening prayer, and then we'll check the mailbag. And if it's a good question in the mailbag, that might even be something good to run past our guest. If we're able to get him in here, then we'll do that. But let me check the prayer urn real quick. It's been full this week. I've been trying to get through it. Most of these people send these in while hoping that I offer them up live on air. Gerald N. from Oklahoma. I haven't had anybody from Oklahoma in a while. My dad was born and raised there, Gerald.
I'm in Oklahoma right now.
Oh, that's right. You are in Oklahoma. Where are you at?
I'm about 30 miles south of Tulsa.
There you go. I wish I
Out
knew.
way out in the country. I got a donkey on one side of the fence, and I got cows on the other side. I am way out in the country. I like it.
You know what they say, and that the memory's the first thing to go, and Sean's been gone for a long time. So,
yeah, if
I keep telling. Well, see, the whole time he knew me for years and years. I was in Illinois, and then I came out here.
I totally forgot. That's right. That's this is meant to be, to pull an Oklahoma guy. My dad was born and raised there. Gerald, if you're
Hi,
watching,
Gerald.
and I hope you are, you should have wrote down here what part of Oklahoma you're from.
I know a Gerald here in Oklahoma too.
It might be him.
Wow, and he's a book guy too.
He says, I would love for you to offer up a prayer of protection and light a candle for all those worldwide suffering religious persecution. Whoa. Gerald, that is a very humble and selfless prayer request. God bless you for that prayer request. And yeah, it's bad now. Everybody's after each other, and it's it's really, really bad now. So I will offer up a nice prayer for everybody. And you know what's funny? I never bring these big candles up to my desk here. And for some reason I brought a big one up today. And a big candle, I think, is what we need to light for worldwide religious persecution. So here we go. Let me find a good prayer in here. And I already know right off the bat, and it opened right up to the page. I was thinking Saint Joseph, the ultimate protector, and the terror of demons. And that's exactly what religious persecution is from the evil one. So this is a prayer to Saint Joseph. I'm offering it up for all those worldwide suffering religious persecution. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. O glorious Saint Joseph, you were chosen by God to be the foster father of Jesus, the most pure spouse of Mary, ever virgin, and the head of the Holy Family. You have been chosen by Christ's vicar as the heavenly patron and protector of the church founded by Christ. Protect the sovereign pontiff and all bishops and priests united with him. Be the protector of all who labor for souls amid the trials of tribulations of this life, and grant that all peoples of the world may follow Christ and the church he founded. Dear Saint Joseph, accept the offering I make to you. Be my father, protector, and guide in the way of salvation. Obtain for me purity of heart and a love for the spiritual life. After your example, let all of my actions be directed to the greater glory of God, in union with the divine heart of Jesus, the immaculate heart of Mary, and your own paternal heart. Finally, pray for me that I may share in the peace and joy of your holy death. Amen. Okay. It's a beautiful prayer.
And God bless you, Gerald. That was a lovely sentiment. Very beautiful thing that we don't think of very much. So I think that was so nice to send that in and ask that as a prayer petition.
May the Holy Spirit enter and intervene in everyone's life around the world suffering from religious persecution at this moment. And this candle will continue to burn for all those until that candle's going to burn a long time. That's a big one. Okay. All right, Annette. We're going to try and get our guest on here today. I feel bad for him. He's always such a great guest. I always look forward to having him on. He always looks forward to being on. And he's just having a really bad storm right now.
Great. Try to scare the guy away by saying that you're looking forward to it. No, actually, you know what? I think he did his abracadabra stuff, and he's looking pretty strong right now. So.
Oh, really?
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, the reason why you guys all tuned in today was for him. I know that. We all love him. We all respect him. This is Papa from Gallo Family Ghost Hunters. Please give a big, warm Paranormal Ministry family welcome to the one and only Bobby Gallo.
Hey, folks, how you doing? I really apologize for the connection issues. I'm actually doing this from my cell phone because my regular internet. Yeah, it's just not happening right now.
Well, you still look very handsome. You know what's funny? You. I already know how you roll. I picked out a really cool hat to wear today.
Did you really?
I couldn't make it. It didn't look good with the headphones over it or trying to get the hat on top of the headphones. So I had to scrap it. But I had one for you and I just couldn't wear it today. So.
Oh, man, I wanted to see that.
Well,
that would have been great.
I'll put it on later and take a picture of it and send it to you.
Thanks.
Bobby, have you met Annette?
Not here on the show
before, but
yeah.
We've never talked and been face to face or anything like this. So this is very cool, and I was looking forward to it. I absolutely have known who you are for a very long time. And then I was sad when you were coming on that we were having trouble, but I think this is doing really pretty good with your phone.
Yeah,
that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it was looking a little bit grim a little while ago that we weren't going to actually. So very excited to have you on, and I want to give a shout out to Christy Cesare. He just said hello. And that was awfully sweet. And that's somebody I've known for a very long time. So he's listening today. And I think this show's going to be great. I put the link on my Facebook for people if they want to go to YouTube. And I may be one of those people this weekend, binge watching the shows. I did not realize you had 8 seasons worth. So that's just really incredible.
Yes, yes. I'm putting on my glasses here. My phone is so small I can't even see myself. Yeah. Basically I've just started refocusing on YouTube. We were actually one of the original paranormal web series way back, around 2007 on YouTube. And we had a lot of problems with YouTube, as I talk about in my books. So we left YouTube and went on to various platforms. But, lately I was, discussing it with my family. I said, all of these platforms come and go. Blip TV came and went. Daily Motion is just a shadow of its former self. Same thing with Vimeo. But the one platform that's really maintaining there and actually probably growing leaps and bounds is YouTube. So we're kind of letting bygones be bygones with some of the things that happened between us and YouTube. So we went back with YouTube, and I'm kind of glad I did, because honestly, our subscriber base just in the past 2 months has doubled what it has been for the past 12 years.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I can't believe. And what's happening now is people, even though we've been kind of buried in YouTube in the recesses of the dungeon of YouTube for the past 12 years, people are now discovering us for the very first time. And they're saying, where have you guys been? And they're watching the episodes. And the thing that's really striking a lot of people is the credibility. And the genuine, that it's so genuine compared to all the sensationalism that you're seeing, out there right now. And that was always our one goal.
What I always love about you, and I've told you this before, I always stalk you I start stalking you about a week before you come on the show. And I always know when I do that, 2 things are going to jump out at me. Locations that I'd never heard of before, amazing locations, and equipment. So I'm scrolling through, I believe it was your Facebook site. And first of all, I see you recently at Stonehenge in Pennsylvania.
Correct.
Amazing location. And I've talked to a few people about this place, and they weren't aware of it. Please introduce that place to all of us now. Talk to us about how you found that place and what it was like being there.
Yeah, well, basically, it's not too far from Castello Gallo, which is where I live. And I was, I like to explore. I've been here for about 5 years now, and I like to explore new back roads near where I live because I want to know what's around me. And one day I'm going down this one road, and I see this park, and it's literally buried in the middle of the woods. And when I pulled over, I noticed that there were Stonehenge-like columns. And I'm like, oh, this is, somebody must have made this little circle. But what I didn't realize is that there's acres and acres and acres of them. And these stones weigh hundreds of tons. And they're literally set up just like they are in Stonehenge, in the actual Stonehenge in England. And it's all called Commonshill Park, and it's a gathering place for pagans. But it was built, I believe, back in the 40s and 50s. But still, how they built it, to me, is a mystery, because some of these Stonehenge-like structures must weigh many, many, many tons. I don't know how they did it. And there's a little chapel dedicated to, I believe it's an Irish saint who actually, sorry about that, perils of doing this on your phone. There was a little chapel there was actually dedicated to an Irish saint who was responsible for bridging the gap in Ireland between the Catholics and the pagans. And apparently,
Saint Bridget?
No, I don't. I think it was a male name, but I can get it. It's actually on the episode. So my wife and I did an impromptu investigation there, and we were actually getting some incredibly relevant spirit communication. and the people are actually buried there too. And so it was very intriguing. The place definitely had a weird vibe to it, and we were running into many very, I would say, liberated type of people walking through there. That. I don't know if they were Wiccans, pagans, or whatever, but they were definitely a different type of person. Nothing bad at all. Just that type of person that you would envision visiting a Stonehenge-like location.
I understand where you're coming from for sure. That place looked amazing. I recommend everybody go and watch the little film clip you did on that location. My wife, who was born and raised in Pennsylvania, didn't even know about that place. So
it's amazing, and it's so big. Like, my wife and I couldn't even hike the entire perimeter. But what really struck me, honestly, I'll be honest with you, is we found a stone altar with like a stone throne overlooking it, and that kind of gave me the creeps. And so I don't really know what goes on there, to be honest with you. I'm assuming it's benign, but when you find stuff like that, then you're like, well, really, what is this being used for? I don't know. And that's also on the episode.
Let me ask you this real quick, and then I'm going to let Annette have a go at you. Inside locations, outside locations, many people refuse to do outside investigations because there's usually a lot of contamination when they're trying to capture evidence. I have noticed you do a lot of outdoor locations, and I don't think you're really suffering many contaminations.
Nope.
And you get some really good feedback on some of your equipment too. What do you take your best guesstimation and best vibe from the place in the investigation you did there? What do you think?
I think there's definitely something there because, I mean, first of all, indoor versus outdoor depends on the equipment that you're using. I mean, if you're using laser grids and you're really focusing on EVP, then maybe indoor locations are better sometimes. Outdoor locations, though, can be better in the sense that you're not going to get EMF contamination, because if you're out in the middle of the woods where there's no power lines, unlike an old house that has unshielded wiring, then of course, your EMF is going to be more reliable. So when you're getting EMF spikes in the middle of the woods, there may be something there. And there's people that say, well, it's geolocation energy, which is basically EMF that comes from the ground. But that is never more than 5 milligauss on a good day. So if you're getting EMF that's strong enough to trigger an ITC device, which is instrumental transcommunication, then you definitely have the makings of paranormal activity at that point. So I would say that there are perks to investigating outside. I mean, if it's a windy day, you can't do EVP, but other than that, we've got some great EVP outdoors.
Yeah. And being out in the middle of the wilderness, you didn't really have to worry about any high wires or any of that nonsense.
No, either. There was none. There was none.
Very interesting. Yeah. Annette, have you ever heard of that place?
No. And if you heard any clicking, I looked it up and I was looking at pictures of it because it sounded so fascinating. And I think I'm going to watch the episode because I was like, really?
Oh, please.
That is cool. A Stonehenge type place in Pennsylvania. I had to look that up.
And it was incredibly large. That's what struck me. It wasn't just something that somebody made in their backyard. This is many acres, and these large stones, and some of them 10 feet high or taller, are out in the middle of nowhere. Some of them are like in the most obscure place, and I'm like, what's the symbolism of this? Why were they put there? It's a mystery.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, the last time you and I spoke, you were a little burnt out on events, and you're taking a break from events. But I happen to notice recently, and I don't know if it's a seasonal thing with your family, but you seem to be kind of back on the event tour thing again, and you guys were at another amazing location recently. Like when you think of when you open up the dictionary to haunted house, location you were just at where there was an event, you expect to see a house like that. and I believe it was a manor. It was some type of manor.
It was sure. It was White Hill Manor.
Why did you decide to get back on the tour, the event tour, and talk to us about that location?
Well, I mean, we have and we haven't. I mean, the reason we were at White Hill Manor, and that's in Fieldsboro, New Jersey, and that's one location literally you've seen on every single popular television ghost hunting show. They've all been on it. And it goes back to the Revolutionary War, and it's been everything from, I believe, something like 17 families have lived there, and it was a brothel at one point, and it was a tavern at one point, and it's seen, if those walls could only talk. But the reason we were there is because that was the very first Paracon, if you will, where they actually honored me as a featured guest, which normally I go to a lot of these things and I do book signings and whatnot, but I'm essentially a vendor like everyone else. But here I was actually on the card with some of the biggest names in the paranormal TV world. The only person who wasn't there was Father Sean Whittington. I mean, to me, he's the I got to tell you something before I elaborate on this, that it's very weird that a paraceleb is interviewing me. It's usually the other way around, I mean, like a bona fide TV star right here. Okay. But, no, but honestly, it was great because I was on the same bill as Katrina Weidman and Heather Taddy from Paranormal State and Brian Cano, who I also interviewed for my book. And it was really an honor that they were putting me on the same level as these people. And so it was an offer I couldn't refuse. I mean, I had to do that, obviously. I mean, I was asked to be a guest there, and I was actually asked to be a guest again next year. But a little funny story regarding that, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm a huge Heather Taddy fan, and I'm probably going to tag her in this video after it's done. But I had never met her in person because I loved Paranormal State from way back. That was like one of, I just loved that show. And that's when she was in college. So I said, oh, this is great. I'm actually going to have a chance maybe to meet her at this Paracon. So here I am, and I'm sitting outside the trailer. There's a trailer there that we were allowed to use, but I didn't go inside. And somebody said, hey, Heather's coming out of the trailer. So she comes out of the trailer and she passes me. She stops, she turns around, points at me, and she goes, I know you. And it was like that. It was like the Grinch, in that movie, The Grinch. He looks around, he's like, me? And it was like, I was a total fanboy moment because to have somebody that you've admired for so long actually recognize you and wanting to meet you was actually pretty cool. And she was just wonderful, gracious. We had a great selfie. And, but yeah, I wanted to share that story because it's just like, I love moments like that.
Do you get a chance to do any investigating at these events?
I didn't then at that day because it was a very high energy day, and at the end of the day, the family just wanted to go home because they were doing an investigation that night, and I kind of wanted to stay, but I knew two things. I knew A, I wasn't going to be on top of my game, and B, there was going to be so many people in that investigation. We were just talking about sound contamination, evidence contamination. When you're in a atmosphere like that, it's very, very hard to get evidence. It really is. There's just too many people trying to do the same thing.
I would love to see. I think events like that for you, Annette, would be really, really good.
The funny thing is, I used to plan a lot of events. I did a lot of paranormal events, and I did a lot of them in the Northeast, and I was not there myself. I was planning them. Krista Cesare, he knows about some of these. I was planning them for other people, and we'd get them set up, and that went really nicely for a while. It is hard when it's a lot of people. Sometimes if the place is big enough, you can split people into enough groups with enough leaders to kind of keep people, from being on top of each other. But yeah, I did that for quite some time. That wasn't all I did. I've done a lot of things mostly because I'm old. So I've done a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And
you don't look very old to me. I guarantee I'm older.
I think I'm older than you. I do. I was born
Doubt
in
it.
62.
Okay, 2 years older than me then.
Well,
But
You're
there's a
old
lot
enough
of
to be
whoever I
my
was,
sister.
well, thank you. Whoever I was working with and whatever they kind of wanted to do, then we would look into that and see what we could find as far as places
Right.
that were willing. Some places were difficult, some places are not difficult to set up, events, and depends on the place and how friendly they are and how much money they want and if they want a guarantee or not. It's hard when they want a guarantee and you're just going to try and sell tickets and you don't know how it'll go. You haven't tried it before on that place. So, but it's
Right.
interesting. You want to do some events, Sean? We'll get it
Um,
going.
we'll try. I'm broke.
Well,
That's the thing. To attend them, you gotta have a little bit of cash.
no, not if it's our event. We put down a deposit and then we start selling tickets. And then you're there and I'm not. That's how it goes.
And vendor tables, sell vendor tables.
Vendor
That's how
table.
most of these events. That's how most of these events pay for themselves. Honestly.
Right.
Something to think about. You've got another one coming up in for all the people out there wondering, well, where can I see Bobby and his family next? You've got one in July coming up. That one is another one I've never heard of. Land of Curiosities Festival.
Yes.
Is that a new one?
That is a new one. And it's in the middle of a mall, a shopping mall. So that's a very unique venue. But I mean, we're going to be there book signing and whatnot. But I've never done this one before, and it's also very close to where I live. So, some of these are kind of no-brainers for me. There was a book signing festival which was just authors, and it was predominantly romance authors till I came along, and now the person who Roz, who puts on the event, loves the fact that now she's got paranormal people, also coming to give the the readers that come to this festival, it gives them a little more variety. And I'm a novelty. It's funny because they're going from romance novel to romance novel, which is basically, a male torso to a male torso on the cover of each of these. And then they come to me and they see ghosts and they're like, what? But we do incredibly well at those things. So because we're not competing with other paranormal people, even though I think one or two more wouldn't hurt. But yes, so the Land of Curiosities is going to be neat because that's going to be all weird stuff and look at me, I'm about as weird as they come.
Very, very cool. I'm excited for you, man. I'm glad to see you guys out there again. I'll tell you what I find interesting about you guys is every team that approaches me and talks to me about stuff and I see out there doing their thing, either they're colleagues first, their paths cross, they form teams, but there's kind of it's more like a business. Then you have friends that somehow they discover that they all have a passion for investigating the paranormal and they're friends and they form a team. Very few families out there, especially like the Gallo family. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably a big reason for your guys' success is because it is family. So if you could speak to us from the heart on this whole doing it with your family. Now, with me, my wife's very stubborn. She's a survivor of an extreme demonic attack. The kinds of cases I work now, I sometimes have to not even tell her about them and go work them behind her back because I get scared taking her to these places now because she's fearless. She wants to go to them all. Talk to us about all of that, why you do or don't think that the family unit is a successful part of what it is you guys do, and the bad part about it, if there is any.
Oh, sure. There's good and bad in everything. But, first of all, I could not be more proud of my wife and my kids because from the very beginning, when we started this and they wanted to do this, they truly wanted, it's not something I drug them along to do. They wanted to do this. They were fearless. And the fact that they were not afraid, because you probably know this better than anybody, that if there are darker energies out there, they love to feed on fear. And since my family was never afraid of anything, I think that really helped them get through some scary investigations. But Sean, Father Sean, I don't know, I'm still getting used to calling you Father, so please forgive me. I'm Catholic as well. So our spiritual faith has always been our armor and has always been our way to feel safe when we're out there doing investigations. But I also believe that the sincerity of the kids, of my wife, of myself, when we try to communicate with an entity, and by the way, the only reason we've ever wanted to do this was to prove an afterlife. And which is why even in the Catholic Church, some of the, I write about it in my first book, the Catholic Church has even said it's a good thing because it gets people thinking about the afterlife. The problem we have in this society is there's too much secularism, too much humanism. We're getting away from spirituality. But if people know that there's an afterlife, it gets them thinking about it a little bit more. So that's really the good thing. So we wanted to prove, I know the Bible says, blessed art thou, Jesus said, blessed art thou who believe without seeing. Well, call me St. Thomas. I mean, there's a little St. Thomas in me. I like a little validation. And I think there's a lot of people out there that need that validation. And if they have that validation, they're going to become strong in their faith. That's my personal belief. So that's why I do it. And that's why we've all done it. And it was that sincerity that we brought to the field and brought to the investigations that I believe allowed us to get the amount of evidence we got. Because let's face it, as you said, there are dozens and dozens of groups out there, maybe even hundreds, that are doing this for all the wrong reasons. And all you have to do is look at their Facebook page. They take more pictures of their equipment than the evidence that they've acquired. Because quite frankly, a lot of them don't even get evidence. They want to be the next TV stars. Right. They want to be the next YouTube sensation. This is what they want. Evidence is secondary. Proving the afterlife is secondary. So I believe we did it for the right reasons. I believe that was the secret to our success. Now, are there downsides? Absolutely. But let me preface this by saying that we let kids do a lot of things that are risky in life. Contact sports, camping in the wilderness with snakes and bears, skiing, water skiing, scuba diving. I mean, kids do risky things. And I know when I was a kid, I did things that I'm lucky I'm still alive, to be quite frank. Yes. Are there particular risks with ghost hunting and paranormal investigation? Probably, only because instead of a stranger trying to pick a kid up in the car, we're dealing with people that we can't see. So we don't know who they are. So that's why the spiritual protection is very important. And we never took unnecessary risks. We didn't do residential cases. We didn't investigate anything that was supposedly demonic. We didn't investigate things like ancient Indian burial grounds. We mostly did historical locations and places that, if they could be considered low risk, then that was as close as we were going to be able to get. But have we had negative experiences? Yeah, we had a really bad one. And I never wrote about it in any of my books. And one of these days when we get together, Father Sean, I'll tell you about it. And you'll know exactly. Basically, let me just tell you, it took an exorcist, a priest, and a shaman to get rid of it. Wow. And yeah, but we did. And it attacked one member of my family. And that's why we got out of this for years and years. Not years and years, but I would say probably a good 5 years. You'll see a gap in our episodes between when the kids were small and when the kids were grown. In that space, we weren't doing anything. But then we said, are we going to let fear get the best of us? Or are we going to continue this because this is a passion and a mission for us? And we can, and so now we decided to continue to do it. However, there's certain things we don't do in our investigations that we did back then that we think led to that attachment.
Well, I'm finding now, it's funny you say that, I'm finding now that it's not just the demonic and the the real malevolent non-human entities that are targeting people. All of those darker, more malevolent, lower vibrational type entities, they want to destroy the family anyhow. So now here comes this family of ghost hunters. You're double the target now. But now I find people getting jumped, if you will, for lack of a better term, jumped and attached on by just ghosts. Ghosts are now doing that too. So you have to be careful with it all.
100%. 100%. A lot of actual human spirits that are earthbound for whatever reason, and I have my own personal views on that, and probably comes from my Catholic background. I think this is purgatory for a lot of them. I think they're sentenced here to learn and observe and learn. And I think if they have the opening, that sometimes they can create a little bit of havoc. That's my personal belief. I don't really have, and I only base that upon things that I've researched and experiences that I've had, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know. I will say though that you're absolutely 100% correct. And, I think I'll tell you another reason I think this is happening. And this is actually a subject I actually wanted to bring up with you, Father Sean. I have good friends in the paranormal, people that I've been friends with for years. And I've talked to them on Facebook, and I've met them at conventions, and we've went out to dinner together. We've had drinks together. And I never knew, God is my witness on this, I never knew these people were closet Satanists. And they're now coming out of the closet and not only admitting it, but now actively trying to recruit. Two people, one of them is actively trying to recruit, that was a friend of mine on Facebook, and the other one told another one of my friends in confidence that he's an actual Satanist. He still hasn't told me yet, but now I know. But they're coming out, and they're not afraid of it anymore. And I'm seeing posts about it where I never saw posts before. And I think that these people, I think this is opening up a lot of doors that are better left closed. And I think this is why this is happening to a lot of people, honestly, because they're being sold a bill of goods. And the bill of goods is, in the Church of Satan, which is what both of my friends are a part of, they believe that the devil is just a figurative thing and that he doesn't really exist, and it's all really about humanism. But we both know that the devil's greatest trick is convincing people that he doesn't exist, and he's starting with his own flock. And that's the problem. It's a huge problem, and it's becoming worse because people are now coming out about it.
And you know what? Just a little thing to throw in there. Something that happened to me years ago that I was just completely floored is that I knew a lady that was a minister. And when I was doing my own show, people would send me, letters asking for help, emails. And I'd recommend people to her, and she would go check them out if they were in her area. And she was a minister, and I found out after a couple of years that she didn't believe in Satan at all. And I'm thinking, I couldn't imagine that someone could be a minister and not believe in Satan. It's in the Bible all over the place. And I felt bad.
That's another problem.
There's people that said to me that they thought they were having possible demonic issues, and I'm sending and referring somebody that doesn't even believe in that. So she's just going to say, oh, I found a beer can in the garbage can. They're an alcoholic. Oh, well,
right.
She would look for a reason that she was never going to take it seriously in the first place. And I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's really amazing. You're right. There's the people of the cloth that don't believe some of the most important warnings of Scripture.
Right.
And like I said to my one friend who told me about my other friend who is a closet Satanist, I said, I'm a very accepting person. I accept Wiccans, I accept pagans as friends, I accept a lot of people as friends. I said, I really draw the line at this. I said, I gotta have a line that I can't cross. I can't accept this. Because I know this is only going to lead to disaster down the road, and I can't watch it happen.
And it always ends up bad. It always
Always.
is a bad road. It's a self-destructive road. And in the beginning, it seems very, oh no, it's not about the devil. I'm my own God. I can do whatever I want.
Oh, don't you love that one?
And
Yeah,
that's
that's
how it
humanism, basically.
starts.
Yeah,
And, basically, by the time, it all catches up with them, it's always a really bad story. And I knew a few people like that. And I'm like, this is a bad road. And they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it at all. They think that this is very intellectual or something.
yeah,
That's the strange thing
exactly.
too, is that they think it's like a little intellectual snobbery. No, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna be just fine. I'm smart. I'm clever. I've got this. Always bad.
Well, I will leave it on this note on that topic. At least half of the people that reach out to me for help were people who dabbled a little bit in the dark arts, not knowing any better. And now they come to me begging for help, saying, "Oh my God, what have I done? I can't believe
Yep.
I let myself get into this. I need help." So they're going to find out in a big way that
Yep.
it all is very real, and they made the biggest mistake of their life going down that road. Two things I want to cover real quick before we run out of time. Are we going to have time for one of your tricks?
If I could do it in front of my cell phone,
okay,
I'm going to try.
Real quick, I thought of you the other night. I'm watching old interviews of old comedians, and I see this one old interview with Don Rickles, of all people, and he's telling this story about how he needed to recruit the help of a mobster to prevent from this other mobster that wanted to kill him because he insulted his wife doing his stand-up as a joke, and the mobster got offended and was going to whack him. So he knew this other mobster that he went to and said, "Can you put in a good word for me and keep this guy from whacking me?" And the other mobster was a bigger mobster. He made it happen so Don didn't get whacked. But he tells the story about how him and his mother were invited over to his table, and all the mobsters had their guns out on the table in this nightclub, and his mother told them all to put their guns away as long as I'm here at this table. And they all did. But the interviewer said, "Who was the mobster?" And he said, "Joey Gallo."
Oh yeah, I may or may not be related to him. By the way, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna. Well, I'm more afraid of that than a low vibration entity. Let me tell you.
Well, listen. Hopefully you'll be able to do this. It's become quite a tradition. I've already had a few
Okay, we're going to try. First, I want to preface this by saying my third book is a book on magic tricks. It's basically 400 pages on how to be a magician. So the trick I'm going to try to show you on my cell phone is actually in the book. All right, so we're going to try this. I'm going to try to do my best here. We call this the tale of two fish.
Okay.
No loaves here, Father. No loaves here. Just two fish. Okay, now, two fish exactly the same size. Okay, they are exactly the same size. However, if you take them and you shake them and you put one on top of the other, it looks like the bottom one has grown. You see that? But you know what? Being a professional magician, there's a way to fix that. So we're going to fix that. There we go. Good. Now the fish are exactly the same size. Unless, of course, you put one on top of the other, the bottom one now grows about 2 inches. So now we're going to take it and we're going to fix it. Cut them so now they are exactly the same size. Unless, of course, you put one on top of the other and the bottom one grows again. So we're going to take it and we're going to cut it so that they're exactly the same size. Unless, of course, you take it and you shake it and one grows to be about 2 inches bigger again. So we're going to take it and we are going to make them the same size. You take them, you shake them, one becomes bigger. So we're going to take it and we're going to cut it again. And you see, Father, this is why we call this the tale of two fish. because when we're done, all we have left are the tails of two fish.
Bobby, every fish in my aquarium just swam and hid.
The fish snipper.
You know who I have to introduce you to real quick before we let you go is the actor that portrayed me in Legion of Exorcists, Steve Crawford, who also is from Oklahoma. He was, for many, many years before he got into acting, was an escape artist and a magician. You traveled all over the world doing that. And I thought maybe you guys might have crossed paths or you might have known him, but I'll have to introduce you and Steve, and you guys could probably have some really good chat.
That'd be great.
The old days.
He was, by the way, he was magnificent in the series. Magnificent.
I thought he was too.
Yeah, and Sean, I forgot to tell you, I saw him on another Discovery Channel program.
Really?
Yeah, he was on a program, I believe it was about Jack the Ripper.
Wow.
I saw him on another program, and he was on there very, very briefly. He was a landlord. So.
Oh, I thought he was Jack the Ripper. I was going to say that's no reflection on you, Father, at all.
Well,
he is very talented actor, and he works all the time. I mean, he just goes from one gig to another to another to another. Pretty amazing. Yeah, he's working all the time. So good for him. But yeah, I'll have to introduce the two of you for sure.
That'd be wonderful. That would be my honor. Seriously.
Is there anything, Annette, you would like to ask him before we cut him loose?
Oh my God, this hour went by so fast. I was gonna ask about Gettysburg, but we don't have enough time to ask.
After that trick, I'm not sure if cutting him loose is the best thing to say.
I love the trick, though. The trick was wonderful.
It was.
Thank you.
Very, very good. Bobby, you know I love you and respect you. Give your whole family, your daughters and your wife a big hug and a kiss from the Rev.
One of these days when I get out,
it just doesn't sound good, the father. So
well, listen. One of these days when I get out west, I'm taking you guys out to dinner, and I don't want to hear nothing. That's one thing I am definitely on my bucket list. I would love to hang out with you.
Very cool. It'll happen, brother. Listen,
absolutely.
Stay safe. I know you got some bad weather in your neck of the woods. Stay safe. You and your family are always in my prayers. And
thank you. I couldn't have a better advocate, and I appreciate that.
I'll talk to you soon, brother. We'll see you later.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks so much. It was wonderful talking to you.
Wonderful talking to you as well. Thank you so much. Have a great night, folks.
Good night, brother. We'll see you later.
Wasn't that awesome? He was so much fun.
Yeah, it's become tradition doing the magic trick, so I like him to do one at the end of every show.
That.
Yeah, I got to get him and Steve together. What are you doing this weekend? Anything fun? How's your son-in-law doing?
He's doing a lot better. His treatments make him kind of sick. They still have him doing treatments.
Yeah, that's the
so.
Tell him I still pray for him all the time.
We appreciate.
I love you. You know I do. I pray that you have a wonderful, wonderful remainder of your Friday evening and a wonderful weekend. And who's next week? Next week we have, you haven't met her yet either. Trish Moe is going to be on next week. She's very gifted psychically wise, passionate about the paranormal. She's a really gifted content creator. She's had her own radio show and her own podcast, but you're going to love her. Trish Moe is next Friday, the 21st.
Awesome.
You take it easy. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay. Good night. Have a great night. Have a great weekend to you and everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye. All righty, brothers and sisters. What else do I want to say to all of you? Other than thank you all for tuning in, because I don't have a show without you guys. USOCC.org. BishopJamesLong.com. Go to either one of those websites. That's the church I belong to. You'll find the links to night prayer, which is every weeknight at 7 p.m. Pacific. You'll find the links to Bible study, which is every Wednesday and Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. Pacific. Check out Zach's website, communitypayitforward.us. Communitypayitforward.us. Just go there, be pleasantly surprised. You guys know who next week's guest is. You can find me on Facebook now under Lawrence Morais, which is a stage name. And you can watch Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists on any streaming platform. If you have watched it and you'd like to see a season 2, you can. There's a petition you can sign for that on change.org to renew Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists. You can also go to the Travel Channel website and leave a comment for that. And they're getting good feedback from that too. So God bless you all for doing that. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to PACT, little p, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. And thank you to Spirit Alabama for all those networks simulcasting my show. God bless you all for doing that. And it is time now for a bad joke. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this haunted carnival barker hat. And it's my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say good night and have a great weekend. Did you hear the one about the guy who invented the knock-knock joke? He won the Nobel Prize. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all in the name of the Father and the Son, the Holy Spirit. Peace.